This right here, this almost black fluid, came out of a Ram 1500 with 68,000 miles on it. The owner had no idea. His transmission shifted fine. No warning lights, no symptoms, nothing. And when I told him his dealer had told him this fluid was lifetime and didn't need changing, that there was literally no service interval in the maintenance schedule, he looked at me like I just told him the sky was green. And then I showed him what I pulled out of his transmission. And I said, this is what lifetime fluid looks like, right here. And if you'd driven another 30,000 miles without addressing this, you'd have been looking at a $5,000 repair for a $100 service. Setup: the lifetime fluid myth. Let me explain how this happened, because this isn't an accident, and it's not a secret. It's a policy decision that got buried in your owner's manual and your maintenance schedule, and it has been costing Ram 1,500 owners thousands of dollars in unnecessary transmission repairs for years, and dealers embraced this enthusiastically. Why wouldn't they? It's one less service line item to argue about, one less thing customers come in questioning. Lifetime fluid, nothing to change, nothing to worry about. Simple, clean. Except for one problem: I pull transmissions out of these trucks. I've seen what's inside them at 80,000 miles, at 100,000, at 120,000, and I can tell you with absolute certainty, based on 2 decades of hands-on experience on this exact platform, the fluid inside your Ram 1500's 8-speed transmission is not lasting a lifetime. It is degrading, and when it degrades far enough, it takes your transmission with it. 1. Meet the ZF8 HP75, Ram's 8-speed. To understand why this matters, you need to understand what's actually inside your Ram 1500's transmission, because this isn't just a generic automatic. This is the ZF8 HP75, one of the most sophisticated automatic transmissions ever mass-produced. 8 forward speeds, planetary gear sets, multiple clutch packs operating under hydraulic pressure, and a valve body with tiny oil passages that would make a surgeon nervous. ZF, the German engineering firm that makes this transmission, is extraordinarily good at building gearboxes. This unit is found in BMWs, Rolls-Royces, Bentleys, Ferraris, Jeep Grand Wagoneers, and yes, your Ram 1500. It is a genuinely world-class piece of engineering. But world-class engineering still requires maintenance. And the transmission fluid in the 8HP75 isn't just a lubricant. It's doing 3 critical jobs simultaneously. It's lubricating every gear, bearing, and shaft inside that case. It's carrying hydraulic pressure to actuate each gear change, meaning the fluid is the mechanism that physically moves your gears. And it's carrying away heat. Every transmission shift generates friction heat. The fluid absorbs it, dissipates it through the cooler, and cycles back. Over and over, thousands of times per drive. Here's what happens to that fluid over time. The additives that protect clutch packs and prevent metal-to-metal contact break down under heat. Microscopic metal particles from normal wear on gears and bearings accumulate in the fluid. Those particles circulate through the valve body, through those precision hydraulic passages, and begin to deposit. The fluid thickens, its viscosity changes, the hydraulic pressure that shifts your gears becomes inconsistent, and one day, one completely unremarkable day, a clutch pack that has been slipping slightly for months finally gives up entirely. That is not a fluid failure, that is a transmission failure, and it is directly downstream of lifetime fluid. 2. What I pull off the lift every week. Let me walk you through what this actually looks like on the shop floor, because the difference between fresh fluid and 80,000-mile-old fluid is something you have to see to believe. Fresh ZF transmission fluid, factory spec Mopar ATF plus 4 or equivalent, is a clean, bright red, almost transparent in thin layers. It flows freely, it smells faintly chemical, and when you wipe it on a white rag, it stays red. What I drain out of trucks that follow the lifetime fluid recommendation looks nothing like that. Dark brown, sometimes almost black, smells burnt. That unmistakable overheated transmission smell that every mechanic knows and no owner wants to hear. On a white rag, it comes off brown with metallic streaks. Those metallic streaks are the shavings of your clutch packs and your gears suspended in fluid that stopped protecting anything miles ago. The filter is where it gets disturbing. Your 8HP75 has a transmission filter designed to capture exactly these particles. When I pull filters from high-mileage trucks running lifetime fluid, I've seen them so clogged they're restricting fluid flow. A clogged filter means reduced hydraulic pressure. Reduced hydraulic pressure means inconsistent sloppy gear changes. And sloppy gear changes accelerate wear on every clutch pack in the transmission. I had a 2019 Ram 1500 come in last spring. The owner complained of a slight hesitation when the transmission shifted from second to third. Barely noticeable at first, started around 85,000 miles. By the time it came to me at 97,000 miles, the 2 to 3 clutch pack had measurable wear. We serviced the transmission, new fluid, new filter, valve body cleaning. The hesitation is gone. But if he'd waited another 20,000 miles, that clutch pack replacement would have cost him between $3,000 and $4,000 for a service that runs about $100. 3. The 4 warning signs you're already overdue. Here's what to listen and feel for. These are the 4 signals that your Ram 1500's transmission fluid is past due and your gearbox is working harder than it should be. Signal 1, shudder between 25 and 50 miles per hour. This is the most common early warning. At light throttle in a specific speed range, you feel a brief vibration or flutter, almost like driving over a rumble strip for a split second. That is your torque converter clutch chattering. It's the first system in the transmission to feel degraded fluid, and it tells you clearly that the fluid's friction modifier additives are depleted. Signal 2, hesitation or delayed engagement on acceleration. If you press the gas and there's a brief pause before the transmission responds, or if your RPMs climb slightly before the gears follow, your clutch packs are slipping. They're engaging softly instead of cleanly. This is clutch wear happening in real time. Signal 3, harsh or clunky downshifts. If your truck drops gears aggressively at a stoplight, more of a thud than a smooth transition, the valve body is struggling with fluid that's changed viscosity. The hydraulic pressure spikes instead of ramping smoothly. Signal 4, anything above 80,000 miles with no fluid service history. That's not a symptom, that's a fact. If you bought your Ram used and can't verify the transmission was ever serviced, assume it wasn't, because statistically, most weren't. 4. The correct service. What actually works? So what does the correct service look like? Because there's a right way and a wrong way here. And this is where I see the second biggest mistake, right after ignoring the fluid entirely. The wrong way is a transmission flush. I know that sounds counterintuitive. Isn't flushing more thorough? In theory, yes. In practice, on a high-mileage transmission running degraded fluid, a full pressure flush can dislodge debris that has been sitting in corners of the valve body for years and push it into passages it wasn't blocking before. On transmissions over 80,000 miles that have never been serviced, do not flush. Do a drain and fill. The right way is a drain and fill, potentially multiple times. Here's the math. The 8HP75 holds approximately 8 to 9 quarts of fluid total. A single drain and fill only exchanges about 5 to 6 quarts. The fluid in the torque converter doesn't drain by gravity, so one service replaces roughly 60% of the fluid. That's meaningful, but the remaining 40% is still contaminated. The professional approach on a neglected transmission: service it at the correct mileage, then drive it for 5,000 miles and service it again. That second service exchanges much of the fluid that stayed behind the first time. The correct fluid. Mopar ATF Plus 4 is the OEM spec for most Ram 1500 8-speed applications. Do not use a generic multi-vehicle fluid. Do not use what's cheapest at the parts store. The 8HP75's clutch pack materials and friction modifiers are designed around specific fluid chemistry. Using the wrong fluid is nearly as damaging as using no fluid at all. Drain plug and filter. Always replace the drain plug washer. Always install a new filter. These are $2 parts. Never skip them. Service interval moving forward. Every 40,000 to 50,000 miles under normal driving. Every 25,000 to 30,000 miles if you tow regularly. Those are real-world intervals based on what I see in the shop, not what corporate decided looked good in a marketing brief. The bigger picture. I want to be clear about something before I wrap this up. This is not a story about Ram building a bad transmission. The ZF8 HP75 is a genuinely excellent gearbox. When it's properly maintained, I've seen these transmissions go 300,000 miles without internal repair. I've seen them tow heavy loads year after year without complaint. It is a durable, well-engineered unit. You put real money into your Ram 1500. You trust it to work every single day. It will, if you give it what it actually needs, not what a maintenance schedule written by a marketing department says it needs. If this video saved you from a $5,000 transmission repair, hit that like button and share it with every Ram owner you know. Because right now, someone out there is driving their truck toward a cliff based on 2 words: lifetime fluid. I've got a full walkthrough on exactly what I check on every used Ram 1500 before I sign off on it. It's linked right here. That video will pay for itself the first time you go shopping for a used truck. Ram HQ. See you in the next one.